So, hello, Mayor Gabe Groisman. Actually, I've been following you for a bit, and I'm so happy that I finally caught you in your trip here in Israel. So, welcome to Israel.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Mayor or lawyer? What's the best thing to do?
I'm both, but you can just call me Gabe. I wear a lot of different hats in my life. So.
What's your favorite?
A father of 5 girls.
Nice.
And so I always have a wife and 5 girlfriends. So only fathers of daughters understand that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Tell us a bit about your story. I want the people to know who you are because I heard so much about you, and I think you are a person to look out for in the next few years, good few years.
Well, thank you. So, I grew up in South Florida, in Miami. My family comes from Argentina, so I'm a first-generation American, and my first language was Spanish, not even English. I grew up in a very diverse community that's very different than most American Jewish communities, because in Miami in the 80s, most of the Jewish community came from Latin America. So all my friends were from Mexico and Argentina and Brazil and Bolivia and everywhere in between. So, you grew up in a different way, and I was raised with a strong Jewish identity, a lot of Zionism in my house. It was a big part of my upbringing. My mother's actually the president of WITZO right now.
Oh, wow.
And so my family's been very involved in the Jewish community forever. And as I got older, I became a little bit more religious, and I also got into law and then into politics. And I've always carried with me, the torch of being someone that likes to fight for our people, for the Jewish people, and for Israel. And I've taken that with me in every stage of my life, from not being in politics to politics, and I'll continue doing it no matter where I land.
What attracted you to politics once you started law? Like you're relatively young, and you've been mayor for a long time already.
Yeah, I don't like complaining, and I don't like complainers.
Nice.
And there were issues, local issues, really, with no big plan. There were local issues in my city, and I live in a beautiful small city. And I didn't want to complain, and I didn't want to be a complainer, so I said I'm gonna run for city council.
Amazing.
And I did that 7 years ago. And 2 years later, I became mayor, and I've been there for 5 years.
When I hear, I live in Jerusalem, and it's always very intense. There's always something happening. Mayor of Harbour seems like being mayor of, Disney. Everything is beautiful. I mean, we had this tragedy of Surfside, which was a disaster, which is right next to the harbor.
Yeah.
But I've been there a few times. Is it so amazing? Everybody's coming to Miami. You have DeSantis. Seems like it's the perfect place.
So we try to make it the perfect place. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. That's why I live there with my family. But look, it's a great place to be mayor, that's for sure. And we have luck to be an affluent community, a successful community with great residents and great citizens.
Yeah.
But look, we have our issues. Every place has an issue. But also my philosophy is, when you're in a place where you have some comfort, some breathing room compared to other people, it gives you a responsibility and an opportunity to do other things. So that's really what we've done.
We had David Friedman here, who is a friend of yours.
And the resident of Bal Harbour, part-time, actually.
I know, actually. He told me after.
Yeah.
I know. Great. Do you interact with all these ex-Trump administration people? Jason Greenblatt, I know, comes to Miami. How do you deal with the new government, the new president? Yeah,
so I was very involved with the last administration, with a lot of folks in there. Not really as a mayor per se, but just because of, maybe as partly, but also just my involvement in the Jewish community and pro-Israel advocacy work. And so I knew a lot of those people. David Friedman, Ambassador Friedman, is a friend and someone I really look up to. Is an incredible person who I actually spoke with him at an event recently in Miami. Yeah. We both spoke at an event, and I shared with everybody. I told everyone to take a deep breath when they look at Ambassador Friedman and just realize that this was just a professional, proud Jewish person from New York, who was living a regular life and built himself up in a way that he was asked to be the ambassador to the state of Israel for the United States, and did such tremendous things. So him and Jason Greenblatt stayed in New Jersey, but many of the other people from that group moved to Miami.
Right. Jared Kushner,
Ari Berkowitz, David Milstein, and on and on.
Do you have poker nights?
No, we don't. But it's fun, and South Florida has become this now political hub, not just for former Trump people, but for both parties. We have every week in South Florida there are elected officials from all over the country. When we talk about Israeli politicians, they stop by our community also throughout the year. So it's a very busy and fun place to be.
You are friends also with Bibi.
My family's friendly with him.
Are
Yes.
you Bibist?
I don't know what a BBS is. I loved him as prime minister. I thought he was, I think unequivocally, is one of the best prime ministers we've ever had for the state of Israel. And anyone who has any criticism of him just has to think of how great the country has done under his leadership, and see the results are there and they speak for themselves. So I'm proud to have seen him. I get to know him a little bit, and he's incredible.
There was just a terrorist attack. The new government, there's lots of trouble and problems in Israel. There's anti-Semitism outside Israel. Give me an opinion. What's going on inside Israel, and what you can do from outside Israel?
Sure. So, talking just quickly about internal Israeli politics, it's an internal Israeli thing. As even though in my heart is here in Israel, I'm not an Israeli. Right. So, on the terrorist attack, listen, anyone who saw the video of the attack saw the face of a coward, really, who would go and stab a woman from the back and then go on and continue to do so.
Right.
And I know that the situation in the south keeps getting harder and harder from a security perspective, and the state of Israel, I hope and I know, is going to address that and going to continue to address that, and it's very important. The issue of anti-Semitism in the United States and abroad, it's a very big and complex issue, and it's a big issue that continues.
I know you're a big fighter also for that.
Yeah, BDS. I try. So yeah, so the BDS movement is something that I've been dealing with for many years. They haven't been successful in what they're trying to accomplish, but the secondary fight with BDS is really what it's doing to the Jewish community, because many people, especially younger people from maybe high school through maybe 30 years old, they don't want to have these fights. And when they keep hearing these attacks on Israel, it's much easier for them to say, to say, listen, forget Israel, it's me.
Wow.
So they separate Israel from the Jewish identity, and that's something that's very dangerous and something that I try to focus on a lot.
Nice. I'm going to say something, and you can agree with me or not.
Sure.
It's great, the fighting against anti-Semitism, but I think there's a lot of fighting that is happening within the Jewish community between Jews. I think we are the biggest enemy of ourselves.
Sure.
Do you agree? Do you have?
So I don't know if we're our biggest enemy is ourselves. That's a big statement, but I do think that that's a huge problem.
I do big statements.
It's okay. It's okay. I think there's no question that one of the most difficult things we deal with is our own community. So first, we have a big crisis of apathy from the Jewish community. Nice. Over 60% of Jews in the United States don't care at all about their Judaism. So, and then it doesn't immediately fall into people who care a lot about their identity and their religion and the state of Israel. We know it's all over the place. So that in and of itself is a big problem. And then the infighting between our community, if you look at almost any major organization that fights against the existence of the state of Israel, there's going to be, unfortunately, there'll be Jewish people within that group.
Right.
And listen, I've debated people on television and otherwise all over the world on Israel and Jewish issues. I have no problem. If I know where you come from, I can deal with you, right? Yes. The hardest issue to deal with is when you're dealing with Jews who are fighting against Jews, and we do see that a lot, and it's very difficult when I'll get a phone call from an organization saying you tweeted this, you wrote this, and they try to convince me, and it's tough. But listen, it's not a new thing for the Jewish people. If you even look back back to Exodus when we left Egypt,
that's
something like 15% or so of the people left, or something like that's the number, something like that. Right. The rest stayed. So we've always had that, and we still end up strong.
We need a leader.
We need many leaders.
Yeah. The shul, Harbour. Are you part of it? Do you know it?
Yeah, I know it. That's my shul. I served on the board for many years. Rabbi Lipsker is my rabbi, my personal rabbi. He's also the official rabbi of the city.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
nice.
Incredible place.
So just side question,
sure.
And we're going to turn this into a Chabad thing.
Sure.
Yudalef Nisan is approaching 120 years of the Rebbe. Do you have anything to say about it? Have you met the Rebbe?
No, I never met the Rebbe. Look, Chabad today is an organization that has a huge impact, if not the greatest impact, worldwide for the Jewish community. And if you just travel anywhere in the world and you need anything Jewish, you know Chabad's going to be there for you. I have a lot of personal stories where Chabad was there for me and my family when I needed them. Also when other people needed them. You see it, there's the meme that's happening now with companies who have left Russia, and it has Nike and this and that, and company that stayed, Chabad.
Nice, that's it.
Because Chabad is always there, so they're really it's a tremendous organization with great people, and I'm proud to go to a Chabad shul.
Are you getting Ukrainian in Miami?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, there's Ukrainians in Miami. There are also Ukrainians here in Israel. Yesterday I was invited. I couldn't go, but there was an event in Shiloh with a Ukrainian orphanage that came.
Yes, they're all over.
With Chabad.
Incredible.
So, yeah.
I think they're coming out as the real heroes here in this whole horrible war. They're really
Chabad?
Yeah. The way they're trying to fight this. Last word. Is Trump coming back or not?
If I knew, I'd be a rich man. Nobody really knows if he's coming back or not. My educated guess is he's not coming back, and the Republican Party has a lot of very strong candidates, and a big opportunity because of how how the Democrats have done under Biden, and there's a lot of opportunities, and I don't see him running. I see DeSantis, Pompeo, Nikki Haley.
DeSantis is strong, huh?
Yeah, DeSantis is my governor and my guy, and I'm a big friend and very happy
Send
that
regards.
he's there.
We want him here.
For sure, and we'll see what Trump does. The only person in the world who knows what Trump's going to do is Donald Trump.
Yeah, definitely. Where are you going to be in 10 years? You're still young.
I don't know. I don't have a 10-year plan. My wife asked me for a 5-year plan. I don't have a 5-year plan.
Is politics your...
I think what I want to do is make an impact. And I know it sounds like a political answer, but it's true. I only want to take positions where I can make an impact, not take positions for the sake of taking positions or running for positions. So, I keep my feet moving, keep trying to make a difference for our community, for my country, for my state. And wherever the opportunities arise or wherever my path takes me, I'll be there.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank
it was
you.
nice to meet you, and keep on doing what you're doing, which is great. And wait for me in the summer when I come to the shopping.
You're always welcome. You're always welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and see you next time.